Hello students, we are back again with some more topics. We have come to the end of this lesson. Just few topics are there and then we can finish off these lessons. In the earlier topics, we have studied about the previous olden maps, our ancient maps, how our scholars, the great scholars have prepared the maps. Okay, now we have, according to our technology, we are having different maps, the latest maps we are following. Now we are going to read about the relief features of the map. On a map, when you see an atlas, when you see a map, we can find lot of high level or low levels of valleys. We can find mountains, we can find hills, rivers, ponds, lakes, oceans, sea, forest, population, and we can find settlement, then agriculture, crops, different crops. All this we find in a map. So there are so many maps based on the themes, which are called as thematic maps. We also see physical maps, then political maps, and then we see population maps. We see a lot of maps based on agriculture or climatic conditions or the rainfall, distribution of different population. All this we see different maps based on the theme. Okay, so now we are going to see the relief features of the maps. Now when you see the hills, when you come to the hills and mountains, when you think of a hill, you find that hills are very long hills, lengthy, some are very long heighted hills, some are mountains are very high like Mount Everest, some mountains are with less peak, some are high peak, some hills are very height, some are low height, some are medium height. So these different heighted mountains we can find in the map. So map is basically, it is a flat surface. On this flat surface, when we see the mountain, we can read the mountain, but we cannot know the information about the height of a mountain. Height of a mountain is very difficult to study in a map or to study in the atlas book. So to know the measurement or to know the height of a hill or a mountain, we have to see how the measurement is taken. The geographers, they measure the height of a hill from the sea level. Why sea level? Because almost approximately all the heights of the hills are taken from the sea level only, because all the sea and oceans are connected to each other. So usually they take it the level of they check the height of a hill. Okay, now I have drawn here a small hill. The hills are taken for the measurement of like 20 meters for difference, then 50 meters difference, then 100 meters difference. Okay, so these the lines what you see are called counter lines. What are the counter lines? Counter lines, these are the lines which join the places of same height measured from the sea level. So the lines are measuring the sea, all the same height. Okay, now you can see here I have shown the 20 from here, the sea level from here it is 20 meters. So 20 meters from here, this line is same, and now back side we cannot see. Okay, again here it is, we see this counter line 50 meters. Okay, so some of the mountains are very steep, some of the mountains are very slopy, some mountains are gentle. So the size and the height of a land is not same everywhere. So the measurement also varies. So to know the height of a mountain or a hill in a flat surface, I have drawn it like this. This is the counter line. You can see the counter lines, different counter lines. Okay, so if the height of a mountain in one side is steep, so we can find the steep counter lines. And if the other side of a mountain is gentle slope, and that is the counter line is far, we can see the counter lines are far from each other because of the position of the position of the mountain. And this side, the opposite side, you can see this side the mountain is steep, so the lines are little closer. Okay, so these are called the counter lines. Counter lines shows the height of a hill based on the measurement. Okay, now atlas. What is an atlas? Atlas is nothing but different kinds of maps, different maps which shows the states, which shows the countries, which shows the continents, which shows the soil, different types of soil present in a map, or different types of crops are grown in different parts. Suppose if you take our own country, we can see in India what are the different types of soil or different types of crops they are grown, what are the rivers. If you see the river map, we can see all the north rivers or southern rivers like Godavari, Krishna in the south, and Ganga, then Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Indus all in the north. This map shows about the rivers. And okay, the population map. Then we can see during the election also we can see the different maps in which area or which state we can find this. So we know about this. Based on this theme, we can know the purpose of the map. Okay, that maps we can see in the atlas. In the atlas we can find different maps. Okay, now comes the aerial photograph. What is an aerial photograph? Aerial photograph, it is a technique where the photographs are taken from the high level, high elevated position. It can be from the aeroplane you are taking, or the photograph is taken from the helicopter, or sometimes you take the photograph from the hot air balloon. So when you're in a high place, or you're in a high elevated position, you take the picture of that area or a village or a flooded area. We see the flooded area sometimes in the news and all, Discovery and all, we see some of the pictures. So when we see that, it is that picture, the aerial photography is not so clear. We don't see the seas, we don't see the mountains or hills. We cannot see, it is not so clarity. Okay, so that is because that photography is taken from a little elevated area. Okay, so that is not so clear when we get what information we wanted it. Now next comes the satellite imaginary. Okay, this satellite imaginaries, these are in the satellite, these images are taken from the satellites. Okay, these satellites are specially launched into the space where they take the images of the earth, images of the continents or the ocean or the sea, or any of the purpose. These pictures are taken from the satellites. So these are specially captured from the space for the purpose. So these satellite imaginary pictures are more clear than the aerial photograph. Aerial photograph has no clarity, and it is just it shows a just rough picture of the map. But here in the satellite imagery we cannot see that. In that we can have the clarity. So satellite imagery is used for so many purposes. It can be used for the war. It can be like for example, now we see in the few days back we have been listening about the news about our border country, like the northeast has been occupied. The part of Arunachal Pradesh had been occupied by the neighboring countries, or in the part of Pakistan, a part of Jammu Kashmir is occupied by the neighboring country. So like this we see the neighboring countries have been occupied. All this information we come to know through the images which we get from the satellites. Okay, and the maps are also used for as a planning. How can we plan? What can we build if there are no water resources in a particular village or an area? So how can we dig the wells for that particular area? Or we can see the drought, mostly drought affected areas where there is shortage of water. So how can we modify it? How can we rebuild it? So all this planning we require when there is a map. And map also used for routes, especially the sailors who sail in the ocean, in the sea, they need to know the landmarks. So to know the landmarks, to know the area where they are reaching or to which destination they are going, they require the route map. Even when we are traveling to the different places, we have that route map. We follow the route map. Okay, so these are very important. Then the map is also used for the meteorology to know these meteorological departments, especially the weathermen, the weathermen, they study daily weather condition of a place, or like if it is a summer, in which area it is hot or which is very cool, the temperature is, how much is the temperature in so and so district, and what is the temperature in other district. Sometimes it is very hot in some areas, some very less. Okay, in the rainfall we can see in which areas lot of rainfall is expecting and which area like cyclone or floods are expecting. All these meteorological department people, they study all through the maps. And then forest also, the people they use map for the forest to know which area is exclusively meant for the forest and which area is meant to build any roadways or to make some dam or to make something else. So map for all these purposes, for the planning and for the meteorology or for the forest or for the warfare, maps are very important. So to know the clear picture and to have the idea, these maps are important. Okay, even the ancient days, in the ancient days when the kings were ruling, so these kings, they like the those who want to invade the countries, like European countries, they want to invade other countries, so they should know in which place or which country they have to invade. So they should know the area, why that area is, why they want to occupy that, why they want to colonize them, so that maybe it is rich in mineral deposits, maybe it is rich in natural resources, maybe it is rich in something. So they want to reach out to that place to invade or to colonize them. So they need planning. To plan up, they need a map. So map is very, very important. Okay. So now almost we have come to the end of the lesson. Then we have some question answers that I am going to tell you in the later time. And see you in the next class.